Hey, what's up, guys? Today is day 8 of my journey of making $5,000 per month in passive income. Today, I had a real lesson in working with different mortgage lenders. As I told you in the last video, I'm buying a house, and today, the most important thing was finding the right lender. I got 3 quotes from several different companies, and the difference was massive. There's one lender that clearly stood out from all the rest. I'm not endorsed by them in any way, but the company is Rocket Mortgage. They gave me an offer that I couldn't refuse, which is they would cover $5,000 in closing costs and additionally give me 2 points for free on the loan. The rate that I got was 6.5%, which is very nice based on how the current based on the current market. The other lenders, they tried to match Rocket Mortgage, but they fell short in the area of covering the closing cost. And what especially persuaded me to use Rocket Mortgage was their agent was super persistent in moving me forward to the next step. And I felt like they really wanted my business. And she even had me talk to her director to see if I had any questions. And yeah, that made me feel very special. Long story short, I spent several hours going through all of the documents they sent me, signing off on them, and providing any documentation to indicate that I'm a qualified borrower. At the end of the day, I was approved, and all the documents are gone to the next person for processing. I'm just relieved that's all done. But if you're ever buy a house at some point, be sure to get at least 3 estimates. Even though the rates might not have a great deal of flexibility, the different features the companies offer can vary widely. Some of the ones that I ran across are free refinancing in the first 5 years. And another offered a floating rate for the first 20 days, which means you can lock in on the current fixed rate, but within the next 20 days, if the rate goes down, they will drop it to the lower rate for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Another one waived the loan origination fee and the underwriting fee, which is what Rocket Mortgage did. And finally, they all offered some type of discount if you were to refinance with them. 2 of the lenders actually said that they handle the loans in-house, meaning they do not sell your mortgage to a third party. I don't really understand the advantage of that at this point, because whether it's them managing the loan or third party, I still pay the same amount. But maybe they would want to keep me loyal and that they give me some extra incentive down the road. And even though today I spent most of my time handling the loan situation, I felt really good because during that time I was 100% focused on getting this task done. And this also gave me a glimpse of what having full control of my time would look like. And I was actually managing a large group of people, whether I knew it at the time or not. There was my real estate agent, the loan agent, the insurance agent who I later contacted for homeowner insurance quote, as well as a number of other people like the home inspector. I get to coordinate with each one of them to make sure that we're on track, then that they have each other's contact information, and we're going to work together to make sure we close on time. It's an amazing feeling being the person who they all rely on to reach this amazing outcome. And that's my update for buying the house. The next thing on my mind is I want to share the book I started reading today. It's called The $100 Startup. That's a very fascinating title for most people. For me, definitely. When you think of starting a company, usually you think of investing in a lot of capital. But if someone says they can start a company for $100, grow it into a 6-figure business or 7-figure, that's pretty rare. And it really makes you wonder, how would they do such a thing? Today in this book, I read about several entrepreneurial stories and even some entrepreneurs who became entrepreneurs by pure accident. I think every one of us probably encounters one of these opportunities some point in our life where we have a problem that's really nagging and there is no good solution available on the market, but most of the time we just treat it as a nuisance and move on. The really entrepreneurial minded people would see it as an opportunity and create a product or service to solve this problem for other people. The first example I read in the book was about a salesman who was just laid off from his high-paying job, and one of his friends who is in a mattress business just got this large shipment of mattresses that he had to unload. And he asked his friend if he would be interested in helping him with it. He had nothing, the entrepreneur had nothing better to do, so he agreed. He first phoned his wife and asked her if she would be okay if they took in a large shipment of mattress. She agreed, and he next contacted a bankrupt car dealership. The room was still available, and he worked out a deal with the landlord to get it very cheaply to store the mattresses. And then he began bringing people into the showroom and just educating them on the different mattresses he has. And people really liked the concept and started buying one after another. And soon he was out of his inventory and he had to get more. That's how his business started. And eventually he expanded to the point where he would deliver mattresses to people and on the back of bicycles. That's a whole different story. You'll have to read the book for the details. But if businesses could be started with just a simple idea, that makes you wonder, why don't with such a small investment, makes me wonder, why don't more people start businesses? Why aren't more people entrepreneurs? I think the main reason is not being focused on, not being intentional about opportunities and being clear where they want to go. If someone is focused on just going through the routines, getting off work, going home, watch TV, they're obviously going to be completely oblivious to business opportunities. Whereas someone who's hungry and who's thinking about making their next million is going to look for inspiration from everywhere in their environment. And as soon as they come across this situation, they would take notice and put it take action into making it happen. At this point, I believe that Airbnb is the biggest potential for me, biggest opportunity. But I'm always on the lookout for great ideas. If you have one you'd like to discuss about, feel free to reach out or leave a comment. And another concept I learned from the book is the importance of moving quickly. Before investing a lot of money, you want to test out the market to see if there's a demand. Just because you have a passion does not mean that you will get rich from it. I have a passion of running, but no matter how fast I run, I will not get paid for it unless I join some local races and I win a gift card. Where a great business opportunity arises is where your passion and skill intersects with usefulness. It has to be something that others desire and would be willing to pay for. Creating my first Airbnb is such an example. I'm providing not just a room, but peace and relaxation from wherever they're coming from. And in order to be successful at that, I get to understand my customers and product better than most in my industry. How would I do that? By learning and studying from others that have come before me and getting better each day. I love the other example from the book that said, instead of teaching someone to fish, give them the fish instead. This is counterintuitive from the normal adage you hear, but makes perfect sense in business. Let me give you an example. Let's say you go to a restaurant and you order a particular item from the menu called salmon mignon. You make your selection and the waiter takes the menu away. A few minutes later, the chef comes out and wants to speak to you. The chef says, "So you've ordered this salmon mignon. I have never made it before. Do you have any experience preparing this?" Before you could answer, the chef says, "I'm gonna go prepare the olive oil. Now come on back to the kitchen with me so you can get started on cutting the fish." Obviously, this would never happen to you, and even if it did, it would be a very uncomfortable situation. You pay good money to go to this restaurant so you can enjoy a nice meal. You do not want to take part in cooking the fish, because after all, if you wanted to do that, you would have already done it. So in this case, you just want to be given the fish instead of being taught how to fish. Many times when we start a business, we want our product is not perfect, but we tell ourselves it's okay, the customer can figure it out. In that sense, we are requiring the customer to learn to fish. And that might seem logical to some, but most customers just want to be given the fish. From an Airbnb perspective, this involves really understanding what they truly want and what type of vacationers are the ones that you want staying at your place. For me, it would be mostly working professionals who are traveling for business, or race or fitness junkies who are traveling for a race, or any working professional who is professional and needs a place to stay. I would not advertise my Airbnb to college students or people who don't have a job and just want to live someplace nice. And that's all for today. Sorry the video was a bit long. Thank you for making it to the end. If you enjoyed anything that I talked about, whether it's my plan of making $5,000 in passive income or what I shared about personal development, I hope you will join me on my journey and subscribe for future updates. Thank you, my friend. Peace.